Yo guys, what is good? Welcome back on the Uncle Sharma channel. We are back with the match previews. 1 day to go to Inter versus Lecce, the first home game of the season. It's exciting. I'm excited for it because, since we won the Scudetto, the second star, we celebrated it in such style. It was amazing. The whole season, the fan base at the Meazza, just I'm speechless. And I think the atmosphere, even though it's only Lecce, I think the atmosphere is going to be amazing. And I'm looking forward to seeing what the Curva Nord has cooked up, but also just seeing Inter fans all together with the team at home. We'll be seeing the new, we saw the away kit, which looked very nice. Now we'll see the home kit in action against Lecce. But before we get into actually the preview, I wanted to get some news out of the way, and this is some petty news. I'm not usually, I am petty, but usually, on this channel I try to stay away from it. But today, the news, if you didn't see it, here it is, tweeted by Romano, the here we go man, that Skriniar officially was left out by Luis Enrique from the PSG squad list. That is what we call, guys, karma. That is what we call the grass isn't greener on the other side. And that is the face of someone who chose money over his career, really. And again, I probably still don't really blame him. The amount of extra money he's getting from that PSG, and he's probably, even if he's left out of the squad, he's probably okay with it, with his dodgy back as well these days. Physically, he's not the same guy. But, some people like to call it the Inter curse, when Inter players leave Inter to go to the team, especially last few years, it seems to be a thing. Lukaku, Onana, Skriniar, to a certain degree, you could say Hakimi, but, lots of examples that jump to mind from recent, and Skriniar's probably now, after this decision, gone to the top of that pile potentially. But anyway, petty news out of the way. Hopefully, current Inter players see that and learn from it. Let's get into the Lecce game tomorrow, 7:45 p.m. kickoff for me over here. And by the way, if you're from the UK, it looks like One Football, the app, they're going to be showing it for free on their app. I haven't actually used it, but I believe they were already showing the first 2 games in the first match day for free. I think from next week onwards, from next match day onwards, they will start showing them for a price, I think £4.99, which isn't too bad, but we'll see. And I'm sure they'll make some sort of season pass or monthly pass, hopefully. But yeah, if you're from the UK, One Football is the place to watch Inter for free. Let's get into the Lecce news. So there's a little bit of bad news, and I think it's not really surprising. We, especially if you follow me, I've been kind of talking about how, this preseason in general has been very intense, I think, for the players because they're getting prepared for this long season. But Lautaro hadn't had a preseason, and he still played, what was it, like over 80 minutes against Genoa, wasn't it? So I'm not surprised at all that now he is suffering from fatigue. They probably are trying to put him through like a shortened, even more intense preseason. So I think this was kind of expected. And again, I'm okay with it. If we're getting these injuries right now at the beginning of the season, I'm okay with it, because the important thing is that these players, their legs, their bodies are ready for the onslaught of games and minutes they will have to play this season. So these early injuries, as long as they're not recurring and as long as it's not like a thing that we see throughout the season, I'm okay with it. And especially these first 2 games, as I said, even the first game, Genoa, if you watch my preview, I said I'm expecting a draw and I'm not losing my sleep if we draw. This one, now the Lecce one, after we drew the Genoa games, becomes a must win. But my thinking, even with Lautaro, with Mehdi Taremi, who is here, I am not losing sleep over this, and I'm confident that Taremi, that's exactly what he's been brought in to do, to give Lautaro or Thuram a rest when they're needed, more than Sanchez and Arnautovic were able to do last year. And I think he will be able to do it at a very, very good level. Anyway, the news from Lautaro is Sky Sport Italia revealed that the Argentine international didn't train on Friday, so today, due to his physical problem. Staff will assess his condition in the coming hours before making his availability decision. Maybe he makes it to the bench, but definitely I wouldn't risk him for Inzaghi. Yeah, he's unlikely to risk him, at least not from the first minute. Most likely, Mehdi Taremi will be given the nod, who's recovered from his injury. So tomorrow could be his full debut tomorrow. So let's see if there's maybe some Iranian brothers and sisters in the crowd tomorrow holding up the Iran flag. So yeah, it will be Thuram and Taremi. The 27-year-old advanced his return plan. So as we know, he came back from holiday early. Capitano Skipper did his utmost best in training to regain his physical shape as swiftly as possible and earn a starting role against Genoa. However, he might have to sit the next one out. Following the Lecce encounter, yeah, that's the thing. We definitely need him back for round 3 against Atalanta. So Lautaro missing the game tomorrow, definitely not the end of the world for me. And here is the predicted lineup for tomorrow. No surprises. Of course, we just talked about Lautaro out, Taremi in. At the back, the news is Benji Pavard coming back. I see some people have taken this as a maybe Inzaghi taking Bisek out because he made a mistake. But I think, the reason why Pavard didn't start last game is that he, similar to Lautaro, he's kind of come back late. Well, he came back early from his holiday, but everyone has different levels of fitness and different levels of, stages of how they get to full fitness. So clearly, Inzaghi didn't think Pavard was ready to be the starter. Bisek was amazing in preseason, but this is the normal hierarchy. This is the real starting trio. Again, let's take it easy with Bisek. I do want Bisek to get a lot more minutes this season, and I want him to be played in all 3 positions. I'm still unsure. A lot of people pushing him to be in the middle, but whatever. I want him to get minutes. But calma on Bisek. Made a couple mistakes against Genoa, but it's not the end of the world. That's what you expect from a young player. And hopefully Inzaghi doesn't give him the some treatment that we have seen from Inzaghi or young players sometimes, one mistake and we don't see him for months. But I don't think it will be. Anyway, so happy with the back 3. What I'm not happy with, again, we're starting this conversation already. It's only match day 2, and it's already the second time that we have to talk about this. Dumfries versus Darmian. It looks like Darmian starting once again, especially in a home game against Lecce. I definitely would rather see Denzel Dumfries starting the game, but it seems to be right now that Darmian is the starter. Things can change within the season. We saw it last year at the beginning. Dumfries was the starter, was playing really well up until he got injured after the first couple of months. And then Cuadrado got injured, and then it was Matty Dahms till the end of the season. Maybe it could be the other way around here, but, let's see how it goes. Maybe it could be due to the contract negotiations with Dumfries at the moment, who apparently isn't happy about becoming number 2. So he has to fight for it. Fight for it, bro. Show Inzaghi why you should be starting ahead of Matty Dahms, who, as I always say, should be one of the centre-back options for me now. In midfield, I know there were controversial one would be Mkhitaryan. Everyone was on his back because he had a stinker against Genoa. Definitely, probably his worst game in Inter shirt. But come on, guys, this is still Inzaghi's trusted soldier. Don't look at the age. Look at the player's performances. Give him the benefit of the doubt. He deserves the benefit of the doubt, Mkhitaryan, after such a positive and consistent season last year. I would have liked to see Zielinski, but again, Zielinski's just come back from an injury. He only just returned to team training the other day. But I'm sure that Zielinski will get some minutes. Frattesi maybe does deserve for the effect and impact that he had against against Genoa when he came on with the assist and some nice runs. Maybe deserves to start in terms of that, but we know that Frattesi, when he starts, he hasn't been as convincing. But you guys know there's really not much to speak about. This is Inzaghi's when we're talking at the back, this is Inzaghi's tried and trusted trio. When it comes to the middle three, this is Inzaghi's tried and trusted trio. And then, something needs to happen within the season to really make Inzaghi change his mind. But very, very strong lineup. Closest pretty much to our strongest lineup possible, apart from Lautaro not being there. So very, very good. On the other side, quickly on Lecce, a bit of a mixed bag this summer for them. They lost one of the best players in Pongragic, who went to Fiorentina for 15 million euros. They replaced him with this guy here, Chialonda Gaspar. They only paid around 2 million for him from Portugal, I believe. But they had a stinker of a game, especially at the back. They got thrashed by Atalanta 4-0. But it still remains a solid team. They've got a solid coach, Luca Gotti, who is known to be one of the most terrorist managers in the league. So they've all tried to make life hard for us. They've got some interesting players like Patrick Dorgu. He's definitely one to keep an eye out for. Linked with some big teams, left wing back, left back, and here he's put as a attacking left mid, I guess, but he'll help out at the back a lot. One to keep an eye out for. Kristovic was even linked to Inter, the striker, at one point last season. He had a really good start, but dwindled out in the second half. Watch him. He's an interesting profile, big guy, but pretty technical. Koulibaly, they signed from Salernitana. He's decent, carrying the ball, powerful. This guy, I'd never heard of him. I saw that they signed him, I think, on a free from Lecce. So they got quite a few new players in this team. Falcone is a very good goalkeeper. Ramadani, decent midfielder. And then on the bench, they got Lamek Banda, who's always a threat with his pace and dribbling off the bench. Udin is pretty decent too. Rafia is decent as well. So it's a decent team, but I think, they are once again going to be fighting for relegation. And, I feel like they're a little bit worse off this year compared to last year. So pretty confident. Of course, Lecce are gonna be wanting to redeem themselves after that 4-0 thrashing, but our first home game, as I said, the crowd is gonna be pumped up, and I think we are gonna pump this Lecce team and put all the doubts at the back, because I know a lot of people are doubting the Mercato, the performance against Genoa, the preseason, the fitness, everything, but I think slowly this team now, once the legs start to be oiled and ready, start to get into second, third, fourth gear, you'll see again the strength of this team. And I am predicting tomorrow, a debut goal for Mehdi Taremi. I think we will see Taremi score on his debut at home, and I think the other goal will come from maybe a Hakan penalty. I would like to see Hakan open his tally for the season. So I'm going for a solid 2-0 win for Inter. Clean sheet, nice couple of goals, get the confidence going ahead of the Atalanta game. You guys let me know down in the comments down below your prediction for this game. Who's going to score? What do you make of the lineups? Dumfries, Darmian, Bisek. Let me know your thoughts on that. And definitely keep a lookout on the Mercato. I know there's news happening outs and ins that I'll cover. Don't worry. We'll talk about it in the coming days. Ciao ragazzi, Forza Inter. Leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel.